Hey you, tonight, you step back in time. Before you dive into this ancient world, please like the video and subscribe to Into the Sleep if you truly enjoy journeys like this. Tell us in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you. For the best experience, dim your phone's screen, set it aside, close your eyes, and let your journey begin. You stand in a muddy field. The year is 1095 and the air hangs heavy with the scent of damp earth and hay. Your hands, calloused and rough, grip a worn wooden hoe as you break the stubborn soil of northern France. Sweat beads on your brow, the late summer sun beating down, though clouds churn dark and restless on the horizon. Your village, a cluster of thatched huts, nestles against a rolling hill, smoke curling from chimneys into the graying sky. Your wife, Agnes, tends a small fire outside your lopsided home, her gentle hum drifting to you as your two children, barely 5 and 7, chase a scrawny chicken through the dust. Life is hard, the harvest thin, and the Lord's tax collector looms, his shadow a constant threat to your meager existence. Suddenly, a horn blares, sharp and urgent, from the village square. You jerk upright, heart pounding, as a rider gallops in, his horse lathered and wild-eyed. A priest in a tattered robe follows, his voice booming like thunder. People of God, the Holy Land cries out Jerusalem. The city of our Lord lies in the hands of the infidel Pope. Urban calls you to crusade, to win salvation, to reclaim the sacred. His words ignite the crowd, villagers shouting, some weeping, others raising fists. Your chest tightens, faith and fear colliding. Salvation, a chance to escape sin and poverty, beckons. But Agnes's worried eyes meet yours across the field, her hands clutching your son and daughter. Before you can speak, chaos erupts. Hooves pound the earth. A band of outlaws, drawn by rumors of crusade fervor, burst from the trees. Their blades glint, their shouts raw and hungry. Take what you can. Their leaving one roars, and panic seizes the village. A woman screams as a rider snatches her basket, grain spilling into the mud. You grab your hoe, your only weapon, and sprint toward your family. A bandit, his face scarred and snarling, swings a rusty sword at a neighbor, blood spraying as the man crumples, gasping. Your breath catches, legs burning, as you reach Agnes. Inside, now you shout, shoving her and the children toward the hut. The bandit wheels his horse, eyes locking on you. He charges, sword raised, and you swing your hoe, the wood cracking against his blade. Sparks fly, your arms jolt, and he laughs, a guttural sound, circling back. Villagers scatter, some fighting with pitchforks, others fleeing into the wheat. Smoke rises as a hut catches fire, the crackle of flames mingling with cries. You pull Agnes and the children close, heart hammering, and duck behind a cart. The bandit's horse rears, hooves slashing the air, and you shove your family down, dirt smearing your hands. Stay low, you whisper, voice shaking as the raider's gaze sweeps past. The priest bellows again, stand firm, soldiers of Christ. Some villagers rally, swinging tools, driving a few outlaws back. Blood stains the ground. A young boy wails over a fallen father, and the air grows thick with dust and the coppery tang of slaughter. The bandits, outnumbered, finally retreat, galloping into the dusk, leaving broken bodies and burning roofs. You rise, trembling, and hold Agnes tight, your children sobbing against your legs. The priest approaches, his eyes blazing. You, man of the soil, will you heed the call? Will you take the cross to save your soul? Your hands shake, torn between duty to family and the pull of a holy quest. You stumble to your hut, the thatch singed but standing. Inside, the dim light of a tallow candle flickers, casting shadows on the dirt floor. Agnes kneels, bandaging a neighbor's gashed arm, her fingers steady despite the fear in her eyes. "We can't lose you," she whispers, her voice breaking. You look at your children, huddled under a thin blanket, their small faces pale and wide-eyed. The priest's words echo, salvation, Jerusalem, a purpose beyond this broken life. Outside, the wounded moan, the acrid smoke stings your lungs, and the distant howl of a wolf chills your spine. You pick up a scrap of red cloth, a remnant from a torn cloak, and clutch it tight. This crusade, this wild, dangerous call, burns in your mind. You step outside, the village a wreck, embers glowing in the twilight. A neighbor, bloodied but alive, grips your shoulder. "I'm going, brother, to fight, to win God's favor. Come with me." His words stir you, the weight of sin, of hunger, of a Lord's greed pressing down. The bandits may return, the harvest may fail again, and your family's future hangs fragile. You turn the red cloth in your hands, the first spark of a decision forming. The priest kneels nearby, praying over a dying woman, her breath ragged, blood pooling beneath her. You feel the pull, the chaos of this night a sign, a push towards something greater, something terrifying. Your journey, fraught with peril, begins to take shape in the flickering dark. You stand in the dim glow of your hut, the red cloth trembling in your rough hands, the air thick with the scent of smoke and fear from the bandit raid. Your heart pounds, the priest's fiery words about Jerusalem and salvation ringing in your ears. Agnes, your wife, watches you, her eyes wide, her hands clutching a wooden spoon as she stirs the thin gruel over the fire. Your children huddle close to her, their small bodies shivering, still shaken from the chaos outside. You kneel, running a calloused finger over the red fabric, a symbol of the crusade taking root in your mind. The night's violence, the blood in the dirt, the burning huts, all push you toward a choice. You grab a bone needle and thread, your hands unsteady, and begin to stitch the cloth into a crude cross on your tattered tunic. A knock rattles the door, sharp and urgent. You freeze, gripping your hoe, your only defense. "Who's there?" you call, voice low, as Agnes pulls the children behind her. The door creaks open, and old Martin, a grizzled farmer, stumbles in, his face smudged with soot, a gash dripping blood down his cheek. Their back, lad bandits, circle in the woods. He gasps. Leaning on the wall, your stomach lurches, the memory of hooves and blades flashing fresh. You nod, kiss Agnes fiercely, and whisper, "Bar the door. I'll return." She grabs your arm, her grip tight, tears streaking her face. "Don't leave us," she pleads. But the cries outside grow louder, and you step into the night. The village square blazes with torchlight, men and women clutching pitchforks and sticks, their shouts mingling with the distant thud of hooves. You spot a thief, his cloak dark, darting from a hut with a sack of grain slung over his shoulder. Rage surges in you, the theft a stab at your struggling kin. You charge, hoe raised, and he turns, his eyes glinting, a rusty dagger flashing in his hand. "Back off, peasant," he snarls, lunging. You swing, the wooden handle smacking his wrist, and the blade clatters to the ground. He stumbles, cursing, and you tackle him, your knees grinding into the dirt. His fist catches your jaw, pain blooming, but you pin him, breath heaving, until a neighbor binds his hands with rope. The thief spits, glaring, as villagers drag him away. You pant, blood trickling from your lip, the red cross on your tunic stained with dust. The priest strides through the crowd, his robe flapping, eyes burning with zeal. See the devil's work, these brigands test us. But God calls you to a greater fight, he roars, pointing east. Men cheer, some trembling, others bold, and you feel the pull, a tide sweeping you from this broken village. You stagger back to your hut, the night air sharp with the tang of blood and burning thatch. Agnes opens the door, her face pale, and you show her the stitched cross, your resolve hardening. I must go. For us, for our souls, you say, voice firm despite the ache in your chest. Dawn breaks, gray and cold, as you gather your meager tools, the hoe, a battered leam from the harvest, a scrap of bread, and a leather pouch of water. The village buzzes, a crowd swelling with farmers, youths, and wanderers, all drawn by the priest's call. You join them, your feet sinking into muddy ruts, the red cross a weight on your chest. A boy, barely 15, stumbles beside you, his eyes bright with dreams of glory, a stick in his hand. We'll take Jerusalem, won't we? He asks, voice trembling with hope. You nod, forcing a grim smile, though danger looms in your mind. The bandit raid a taste of what waits beyond. Hooves thunder again, and you spin, heart racing, expecting outlaws. Instead, a rogue horse, riderless and wild, barrels through, scattering the crowd. You leap aside, mud splashing your legs, and grab the boy, pulling him from the beast's path. He gasps, clutching your arm, and you steady him, your pulse pounding. The priest mounts a cart, shouting, forward, soldiers of Christ, to the Holy Land. The throng surges, a chaotic wave of ragged tunics and makeshift weapons, chants of faith rising into the chill air. You glance back, Agnes and your children framed in the doorway, their hands raised in farewell. Tears sting your eyes, but you turn, swept into the fray. The road stretches, rough and winding, through fields and forests. Your boots, thin and worn, chafe your feet, blisters forming already. A woman beside you, her face gaunt, clutches a wooden cross, muttering prayers. Shouts erupt ahead, and you tense, gripping your lean. A scuffle breaks out. Two men grappling over a loaf of bread, fists flying, blood beating on a brow. You step in, pulling them apart, your voice hoarse. Save your strength. We need it for the fight ahead. They glare, then nod, the bread torn in half. The crowd presses on, a river of desperate souls, the air alive with chants, fear, and the distant howl of wind through the trees. You march, the sun climbing, sweat soaking your tunic. A stream glints nearby, its water murky, but thirst drives you to kneel and scoop a handful. It's bitter, grit coating your tongue, but you drink, the coolness of fleeting relief. The priest's voice carries, urging speed, and you rise, legs aching, the red cross a beacon on your chest. Behind you, the village fades, smoke still rising from the raid's ruin. Ahead, the unknown looms, a path of peril, blood, and purpose. You grip your tools, the weight of your choice settling deep, and step forward, thrust into a journey wild and unyielding. You trudge forward, the muddy road sucking at your worn boots, the red cross on your tunic damp with sweat and the drizzle of a cold. Gray dawn in 1095. The air carries the sharp scent of wet earth and the faint smoke of your burning village. Now, a fading scar behind you. Your hands, rough and aching, clutch your leam and hoe, tools of a farmer turned soldier in this wild crusade. The crowd around you, a ragged tide of peasants, swells with chants of faith, their voices hoarse, their eyes alight with hope and fear. Your legs burn, blisters rubbing raw, but the priest's cries echo, urging you east toward Jerusalem, a holy promise amid the chaos. A sudden shout pierces the air, and you snap your head up, heart leaping. From the trees, dark figures burst forth, bandits, their cloaks tattered, axes and clubs raised. Take their bread, grab the bags. A gruff voice bellows, and panic sweeps the marchers. A woman beside us screams, dropping her wooden cross as a thief snatches her sack. Apples tumbling into the mud. You grip your leam, pulse racing, and step forward, driven by a fierce need to protect. A bandit, his beard matted, swings a club at a boy you met at dawn. The lad's stick no match. You lunge, your leam cracking against the outlaw's arm, and he howls, stumbling back, blood seeping through his sleeve. The boy scrambles to you, his breath fast, eyes wide. Thank you, he gasps, trembling. But the fight rages on. You spin, mud splashing your legs. As another raider charges, his dagger flashing, you duck, the blade grazing your shoulder, a hot sting blooming. With a grunt, you swing your hoe, the handle thudding into his chest, and he falls, gasping in the muck. Around you, peasants fight back, pitchforks clashing, blood staining the road, the air thick with grunts and cries. A man collapses nearby, his skull split, red pooling beneath him, and your stomach churns. The violence a brutal gust in this holy march. The bandits retreat, driven off by sheer numbers, their shouts fading into the forest. You pant, wiping blood and mud from your hands, the boy clinging to your side. The crowd regroups, some weeping, others binding wounds with torn cloth. You kneel, checking the boy, his face pale but unharmed. Stay close, you mutter, your voice rough, and he nods, gripping his stick. The priest climbs a rock, his robe splattered, and roars. God tests us onward to glory. Cheers rise, unsteady but fierce, and you stand. The weight of your tools heavy, the road stretching endless through mist and trees. Rain falls harder, soaking your tunic, the cold seeping into your bones. Your feet slip in the mire, each step a battle, and hunger gnaws at your gut. Your bread scrap long gone. You spot a woman, her hands trembling, offering a crust from her pouch. Take it, she whispers, her eyes hollow, and you hesitate, then accept, breaking it to share with the boy. The taste is stale, gritty, but it fuels you. A cart ahead lurches, its wheel stuck, and you rush to help. Shoulder to the wood, mud caking your arms. Grunts fill the air, and it rolls free. The driver, a gaunt farmer, nodding thanks, his face etched with weariness. Shouts erupt again. Not bandits this time, but a brawl among your own. Two men, wild with hunger, grapple over a sack, fists flying, blood dripping from a split lip. You push through, the crowd jostling, and grab one, pulling him back. Enough, we're brothers here. you shout, your voice cutting through. They pause, chests heaving, and drop the sack, grain spilling uselessly. The boy tugs your sleeve, fear in his eyes, and you steady him. The chaos of this march a storm around you. Distant thunder rumbles, the sky darkening, and the wind carries a chill that bites your wet skin. You press on, the road winding through a forest, branches clawing at your face. A stream gurgles nearby, its water brown and swift, and you kneel, scooping a handful, the cold biting your cracked lips. It's foul, but thirst drives you to drink. A woman collapses ahead, her breath ragged, and you lift her, her weight light, her skin hot with fever. Hold on, you murmur, helping her lean on a staff, her gratitude a faint nod. The crowd thins, some lagging, others vanishing into the trees, lost or fleeing. You wonder about Agnes and your children, their faces a flicker of warmth in this mayhem. Night falls, the air sharp, and you huddle with others around a small fire, the wood damp, smoke stinging your eyes. The boy curls close, shivering, and you drape your torn cloak over him. A man, his hands scarred, mutters of Jerusalem, of God's will. But the day's blood and struggle cloud the dream. Hooves echo in the dark, and you tense, gripping your leam, fearing another attack. It's only a stray horse, wild and snorting, but your heart races, the march a relentless trial. You stare at the red cross on your chest, muddied and frayed, and push forward. The path ahead a tangle of danger and hope, pulling you deeper into the fray. You stagger along the muddy track, the rain a relentless drizzle, soaking your tattered tunic and the red cross stitched to your chest, now faded and frayed from days of grueling march in 1095. The air reeks of wet earth and the sour stench of unwashed bodies. Your fellow crusaders a ragged line stretching through the gloom. Hunger claws at your gut, a sharp, gnawing beast. Your last crust of bread gone 2 days ago. Your hands, blistered and dirt-caked, grip your leam and hoe, their weight a constant drag as you trudge onward. The promise of Jerusalem a distant flicker amid the chaos. The boy from the village, young and wide-eyed, sticks close, his steps faltering, his stick clutched tight. A rustle in the bushes snaps your head up, heart pounding, the memory of bandits sharp. A deer bolts across the path, and a man nearby, gaunt and wild, hurls a rock, missing by a yard. Food he croaks, voice desperate, and others join, scrambling through thorns, their shouts frantic. You hesitate, stomach rumbling, then plunge in, tearing at roots and leaves, your fingers scraping mud. You find a handful of bitter acorns. Their taste harsh, but you chew, the grit grinding your teeth. The boy tugs your sleeve, his face pale, eyes hollow. You split the meager find, pressing half into his trembling hands, his quiet thanks barely audible over the wind. Ahead, a cart tilts, its load of grain sacks spilling into the mire. A crowd surges, men and women clawing at the burlap, their yells raw and fierce. You push forward, driven by hunger, and reach for a sack, but a man, his beard matted, swings a fist, catching your shoulder. Pain flares, and you shove back, your strength fading, the sack slipping from your grasp. Mine, he snarls, eyes blazing, and you stumble, mud sucking at your boots. Blood trickles from his nose, staining the grain, and you back away. The mob a writhing mass of desperation. the holy cause forgotten in the fight for food. A scream cuts through, sharp and chilling. You spin, liam raised, and see a woman wresting a loaf from a scrawny thief, his knife glinting. She falls, the bread tumbling, and he lunges, blade slashing her arm, red blooming bright. You charge, heart racing, and swing your hoe, the handle cracking against his back. He yelps, dropping the knife, and scrambles off, the loaf sinking into the mud. You kneel, helping the woman up, her arms slick with blood, her breath ragged. "Bless you," she gasps, clutching the wound, and you tear a strip from your tunic, binding it tight, the cloth soaking red instantly. The march presses on, the rain heavier, cold seeping into your bones. Your stomach twists, the acorns no match for the void within. You spot a dead raven by the path, its feathers matted, and pause, hands shaking. Others walk past, some glancing, some turning away, but hunger drives you. You crouch, pulling the feathers, the flesh cold and rank, and gag, but force a bite, the taste foul, your jaw trembling. The boy watches, horrified, then looks down, silent. You toss the rest, shame burning, and rise, wiping your hands. The crowd murmurs a dull roar around you. Night looms, and a glow flickers ahead, a camp of sorts. You stumble toward it, the air thick with smoke and the scent of burning wood. A group huddles by a fire, their faces gaunt, guarding a pot of thin stew, bits of root floating in murky water. A man, his eyes hard, blocks you, no share for stragglers, he growls, fist raised, and you step back, hunger afire in your belly. The boy whimpers, and you pull him close, scanning the dark. A cry erupts, a fight breaking out, fists and sticks clashing, blood beading on a brow as two men battle for a scrap. You pull the boy away, heart pounding, dodging the fray. Flames leap suddenly, a stray spark catching a pile of dry straw, and panic grips the camp. You grab a branch, beating at the fire, smoke stinging your eyes, heat searing your hands. Others join, shouting, and the blaze dies, leaving charred earth and a singed cloak. You cough, lungs burning, and slump. The boy beside you, his breath shallow. A woman, her hands rough, offers a sip from a gourd, the water stale but cool. You nod thanks, sharing with the boy. The brief relief, a whisper against the hunger. The crowd chants prayers, voices strained, the priest's silhouette pacing, urging you on. You rise, legs trembling, the road ahead, a blur of mud and shadow. A horse snorts nearby, riderless, its flank bloodied, a relic of some unseen skirmish. You flinch, gripping your leam, fearing bandits or worse. The night presses in, wind howling, and you stumble over a body, a man, eyes open, lifeless, blood crusting his chest. You recoil, heart hammering, and pull the boy close, his small hand in yours. The Crusade's promise, once bright, dims under hunger's weight. The chaos of this march a storm of desperation. You press forward, the red cross heavy, each step a battle through the mayhem. You stumble forward, the muddy road slick beneath your boots, the red cross on your tunic soaked and heavy as rain drizzles through the chill of 1095. The air hangs thick, a mix of damp earth, sweat, and a creeping rot that clings to the ragged crusade marching east. Your body burns, a fever sparking deep, your brow hot, your hands trembling as they grip your leam and hoe. Hunger still gnaws, but a new ache, sharp and unsteady, pulses through you, your breath short. your vision blurring at the edges. The boy, your young companion, clings to your side, his face pale, eyes wide, his stick dragging in the mud as the crowd surges, a chaotic wave of desperate souls. A cough racks your chest, harsh and wet, and you stagger, leaning on your hoe for balance. Around you, others falter too, a woman hacking, her hands clutching her throat, a man doubled over, vomiting into the ditch, his bile streaked with blood. The stench hits you, sour and foul, a sign of sickness spreading fast. You wipe sweat from your face, your skin clammy, and glance at the boy, his breath rasping, a faint flush on his cheeks. Fear grips you, not just for bandits or hunger now, but this unseen plague, a silent foe stalking the ranks. You press on, legs shaking, the chant of prayers a faint drone amid coughs and moans. Shouts erupt ahead, and you tense, heart racing, liam raised. No bandits this time, but a frenzy, a mob of crusaders turning on each other, wild with panic. He's cursed. He brings the fever. A man yells, his voice shrill, pointing at a frail figure, an old farmer, his eyes sunken, skin mottled red. The crowd surges, fists and sticks raised, and the old man stumbles, pleading, "No, I'm faithful." You push forward, the boy behind you, and shout. Stop this, your voice cracking, weak from fever. A woman swings a branch, striking the farmer's shoulder, blood beading, and he falls, whimpering. You shove through, shielding him, your body trembling, and glare, daring them to strike. The mob hesitates, eyes wild, then scatters as the priest storms in, his robe flapping, voice thundering. "Cease, fools. God tests us all." You help the old man up, his hands shaking, blood staining his sleeve, and he mumbles thanks, his breath hot and labored. Your own fever spikes, a wave of dizziness crashing over you, and you lean on your leam, the world tilting. The boy tugs your arm, fear in his gaze, and you nod, forcing strength, guiding him away from the chaos. The air grows heavier, the stink of sickness and mud choking, and you wonder how this holy quest turned to such madness. You stumble to a stream, its water murky, but desperation drives you. You kneel, scooping a handful, the cold a brief shock against your burning skin. Though the taste is bitter, grit coating your tongue, the boy drinks too, coughing, and you splash his face, hoping to cool him. A woman nearby collapses, her breath a wheeze, her skin blotched, eyes glassy. You crawl to her, your own body screaming, and lift her head, offering your pouch. She sips, choking, a trickle of blood on her lip, and whispers, "God save me." You hold her, helpless. As her eyes close, her chest stilling, the weight of death heavy in your arms. Night falls, the sky a bruise, and you huddle by a dying fire, the wood damp, smoke stinging your eyes. The boy curls close, shivering, his coughs sharp, and you drape your torn cloak over him, your own chills rattling your teeth. Around you, the camp moans, a chorus of sickness, some praying, others wailing. A man staggers past, blood crusting his mouth, and falls, lifeless, the fever claiming another. You flinch, heart pounding, and grip your leam, fear of attack mingling with dread of this plague. A shout rings out, and you jerk up, seeing shadows move, a scuffle breaking, two men grappling, one accusing. "You stole my water." Blood spatters, a fist lands, and you pull the boy back, dodging the fray. You drag a fallen comrade, a youth, his skin burning, eyes rolling, to a patch of grass. You tear your sleeve, soaking it in the stream, and press it to his brow, the cloth warm in moments. He gasps, clutching your hand, and you stay, your own fever raging, whispering, "Hold on. See, system strong, your head swims, exhaustion and heat blurring your thoughts, but you murmur, rest now, to the youth. His breathing faint, the camp settles, the fire crackles, and the priest's voice rises, a fervent prayer for strength. You slump, the red cross on your chest a faded mark, your body aching, fever burning. The night hums with danger, sickness, and frenzy. The crusade a storm of suffering, yet you cling to hope, pushing forward through the chaos. You stagger through the dawn, your boots sinking into the muddy road, the red cross on your tunic stained with dirt and sweat. The year 1095, a relentless trial. Fever still burns in your veins, your breath short, your hands trembling as they grip your leam and hoe. The air hangs heavy, thick with the stench of rot, damp earth, and the faint smoke of last night's fire. The Crusade's ragged band pressing east. The boy clings to your side, his coughs sharp, his face flushed, his stick dragging in the mire. Around you, peasants stumble, some moan from sickness, others clutching crude weapons, their chance of faith drowned by exhaustion and fear. Danger lurks, a constant shadow, and your heart races, senses sharp. A shout splits the air, and you jerk upright, liam raised, eyes scanning the rolling hills. Not bandits this time, but villagers, a mob of farmers from a nearby hamlet, bursting from the trees. Their faces twist with rage, pitchforks, hoes, and stones in hand. Their cries fierce, "Thieves! You strip our fields!" Our barns a burly man roars, hurling a rock. It sails past, grazing a woman's arm, blood beating as she yelps. You flinch, the memory of your own village's ruin flashing. But now you're the target, your crusade seen as a plague of looters. The boy grips your arm, trembling, and you step in front, shielding him, your pulse pounding. The mob charges, a wave of anger, and stones fly, one striking your shoulder, pain blooming hot and sharp. You duck, mud splashing your legs, and raise your hoe, not to strike, but to block. A woman, her hair wild, swings a rake, screaming. You took our grain, our goats. You dodge, the tines whistling past, and shout. We're no thieves, we march for God. Your voice cracks, fever weakening you, but they press closer, eyes blazing. A man lunges, his pitchfork jabbing, and you sidestep, the point grazing your tunic, tearing cloth. You push the boy behind a cart, mud caking your hands, and brace for the next blow. Blood stains the ground. A crusader falls, clutching his side, red seeping through his fingers as a villager's club lands hard. Chaos erupts, your fellows swinging sticks and tools, grunts and cries filling the air. You spot a girl, barely older than your daughter, standing frozen, her eyes wide, a basket of bread in her arms. A crusader, wild with hunger, snatches at it, and she screams, falling back. You lunge, heart racing, and grab his arm, pulling him off. Leave her, you bellow, your strength fading. And he glares, then stumbles away. The girl sobs piercing the din. You kneel, offering a hand, but she scrambles back, fear in her gaze. The priest storms forward, his robe torn, voice booming. Peace, children of God. We seek the Holy Land, not your ruin. Some villagers pause, but a man, his face scarred, hurls a stone, clipping the priest's brow, blood trickling down. You rush to him, steadying his arm, your own body shaking, fever and fatigue gnawing deep. The villagers waver, some lowering weapons, others shouting, torn between fury and doubt. You stand tall, liam in hand, and call. We've suffered too, lost homes. Kin, let us pass. Your words hang, raw and desperate. And a woman, her hands rough, drops her rake, tears streaking her face. A horn blares, sharp and sudden, and you spin, fearing more foes. It's a crusader, a youth, blowing a cracked horn, rallying your band. The villagers falter, then retreat, some dragging a wounded man, blood trailing in the mud. You pant, your chest tight, and check the boy. His cough's harsh, his eyes scared. You pull him close, mud and blood smearing your hands, and bind a gash on a woman's leg, the cloth torn from your sleeve, now red and damp. The air stinks of sweat and violence, the road a mess of trampled earth and scattered stones. Night creeps in, the sky dark, the wind cold and biting. You huddle by a stream, its water swift and murky, splashing your face to cool the fever, the chill a jolt to your aching body. The boy sips, coughing, and you share a scrap of bread, looted in the fray, its taste stale but vital. Around you, crusaders nurse wounds, some praying, others silent. The clash with the villagers a fresh scar. A man, his arm gashed, mutters, "They hate us, and we starve." You nod, the weight of his words heavy, the crusade a tangle of faith and fury. You glance at the girl's face in your mind, her fear a mirror of your own village, now lost. A rustle in the dark snaps you alert, liam grip tight, shadows move, and you tense, heart hammering, expecting attack. A deer bounds past, and you exhale, but the fear lingers, the road alive with threats. You pull the boy close, his small frame shivering, and drape your cloak over him, your fever pulsing, your strength thin. The priest kneels nearby, blood crusting his brow, praying for mercy. You stare at the red cross, torn and muddied, and rise, the march a storm of strife, the villagers' wrath a fire behind you, driving you deeper into the unknown. You trudge onward, the year 1095 a brutal blur, your boots caked with mud, the red cross on your tunic torn and stained from rain, blood and sweat. Fever lingers, a dull fire in your bones, your breath shallow, your hands shaking as they clutch your liam and oh, the air reeks of damp soil, rot, and the faint smoke of distant fires. The Crusade's ragged band weaving through a rocky plain near Civito, a name whispered with hope. The boy, your weary companion, stumbles beside you, his coughs harsh, his eyes sunken, his stick dragging in the dust. Around you, peasants press forward, their chants faltering, faces gaunt, the dream of Jerusalem tested by hunger and strife. A sharp whistle cuts the air, and you freeze, heart leaping, eyes scanning the hills. Arrows rain down, a deadly storm, as Seljuk warriors, clad in leather, burst from the ridges, their cries fierce, blades glinting in the pale sun. Panic seizes the crowd, crusaders scattering, some raising sticks, others fleeing. An arrow thuds into the ground near your feet, and you grab the boy. Diving behind a boulder, your pulse racing, a man beside you screams, an arrow piercing his chest. blood spurting, his body crumpling in the dirt. You grip your leam, fear and fever blurring your vision, the clash of steel and shouts a roar around you. You peer out, heart pounding, as a horseman charges, his spear lowered, eyes locked on a fleeing woman. She trips, her cry shrill, and you lunge, swinging your hoe, the wood cracking against his leg. He snarls, wheeling his horse, and thrusts, the spear grazing your arm, a hot line of blood welling up. You stumble, mud splashing, and swing again, the handle snapping, useless now. The boy yells, run, and you grab his hand, sprinting through the chaos, arrows whistling past, one nicking your ear, a sharp sting. Blood pools in the dirt, a youth's throat slashed, red gushing, his eyes wide in death. The Seljuks press in, horses thundering, swords hacking, and crusaders fall, limbs severed, blood soaking the ground, the air thick with dust and the coppery tang. You duck behind a cart, its wood splintered, and pull the boy close, your breath ragged. A woman, her arm gashed, crawls toward you, her face pale, blood dripping. You tear your cloak, binding her wound, your hands slick, shaken from fever and fear. Hold on, you whisper, but a horseman looms, his blade raised, and you shove the boy down, raising your leam. The rider swings, steel clanging, and you stagger, pain jarring your wrist. But he rides past, chasing another. Shouts of retreat rise, the priest's voice lost in the din, and you scan the slaughter, bodies strewn, some twitching, others still. A friend, the gaunt farmer from your village, lies near, his chest pierced, blood bubbling from his lips as he gasps your name. You crawl to him, heart-wrenching, and grip his hand, his fingers cold, slipping away. For God, he chokes, then stills, his eyes blank. Tears sting your eyes, but arrows fly, and you pull the boy, running, your legs burning, the ground a mess of mud and gore. A Seljuk rider spots you, his horse charging, and you dive into a ditch, mud coating you, the boy trembling beside you. The attack slows, the Seljuks pulling back, their cries fading, leaving a field of ruin. You rise, shaking, blood dripping from your arm, and survey the carnage, hundreds fallen, blood pooling, the stench choking. You help a man, his leg slashed, his groans weak, and bind it with a strip of cloth, red soak it through. The boy coughs, clinging to you, his face streaked with dirt and tears. The crowd, shattered, regroups, some wailing, others silent. The Crusade's hope buried in this bloody mess. You find your broken hoe useless and clutch your leam, the weight heavy in your aching hands. Night falls, the sky dark, a cold wind biting your skin. You huddle in the ditch, the boy pressed close, his breath rasping, your fever pulsing. A fire flickers nearby, crusaders guarding it, their faces grim, hands stained with blood. A woman offers a sip of water, her hands shaking, the gourd nearly empty. You share it with the boy, the coolness a faint relief against the heat in your veins. A shout jolts you, and you grip your leam, heart racing, fearing another strike. Shadows move, but it's only stragglers, wounded, staggering in. The air hums with moans, the ground littered with the dead, their blood crusting in the chill. You rise, legs trembling, and help a youth, his shoulder gashed, blood matting his tunic. You tear another strip, binding it, your fingers slick, your body weak. The priest, bloodied but alive, kneels among the fallen, praying, his voice hoarse. You stare at the red cross, torn and filthy, the slaughter at Civito a brutal scar. The crusade reels, a storm of death and chaos, but you steady the boy, your resolve flickering, and step forward, fleeing the ruin. The path to Jerusalem, a distant, perilous dream. You stumble from the bloody ruin of Civito, the year 1095, a relentless storm. Your boots slogging through mud and gore, the red cross on your tunic torn, stained with blood and grime. Fever clings to you, a dull heat in your bones, your arm stinging from the spear's graze, your hands trembling as they grip your leam. The broken hoe lost to the slaughter. The air reeks of death, smoke, and damp earth. The crusade's shattered remnants limping forward. The boy, your loyal shadow, coughs beside you, his face pale, eyes wide with shock, his stick clutched tight. You join a new band, the true crusaders, led by lords in glinting armor, their banners snapping in the wind, a stark contrast to your ragged state. A knight, tall and stern, rides past, his horse snorting, his whip coiled at his side. You haul a sack of stones, your back aching, the weight crushing as he barks. Faster, peasant, build our camp. His voice cuts, and you stagger, sweat beading, fever flaring. You drop the sack, stones tumbling, and his whip cracks. A sharp sting across your shoulder, pain bloomin' hot. You bite back a cry, hands shaking, and heft it again, mud caking your legs. The boy scurries, carrying twigs, his breath rasping, and you nod, urging him on, your heart heavy at the Lord's cold welcome. Tents rise, canvas flapping, the camp asprawl across the plain. You labor, dragging logs, your arms burning, the scent of pine and sweat thick. Nights feast nearby, the aroma of roasted meat, sharp and rich, taunting your empty stomach. You glance, hunger gnawing, and see them tear into mutton, grease shining on their chins, while you chew a scrap of moldy bread, its taste bitter, shared with the boy. A soldier, his tunic finer, shoves past, snarling, out of my way. Filth you stumble, catching yourself, anger flaring, but you bite your tongue, the hierarchy harsh and clear. A shout erupts, and you spin, liam raised, heart pounding. Two crusaders, rough and hungry, grapple near the fire, fists flying, blood beading on a cheek. You took my share. One roars, swinging a stick, the other dodging, his knife flashing. You rush in, the boy behind, and grab the stick, wrenching it free. Stop this, you yell, voice hoarse, fever sapping your strength. They pause, chests heaving, blood dripping, and glare, then part, the knife clattering to the ground. You pant, mud and sweat mixing, the camp a tinderbox of tension, faith fraying under want and pain. Night falls, the sky a deep bruise, the wind cold and sharp. You huddle by a small fire, the wood damp, smoke stinging your eyes. The boy curls close, coughing, and you drape your torn cloak over him, your own chills rattling. A knight strides past, his armor clanking, and tosses a bone, scraps of meat clinging to his men. You watch, stomach twisting, as they snatch it, tearing at the gristle. A woman, her face gaunt, creeps near, begging, and the knight's boot shoves her back, her cry sharp in the dark. You rise, heart racing, and offer your bread scrap, her hands trembling as she takes it, eyes grateful. A horn blares, sudden and shrill, and you grip your leam, fear surging. Shadows shift, and you brace, expecting Seljuks or bandits. It's a fight. Two men, one a hulking crusader, the other lean, grappling over a water skin, blood spilling as a fist lands. You leap in, pulling the lean one back, your arms weak, shouting, "Enough." Where one cause they stagger, blood on their hands, and part, the water skin torn, liquid seeping into the dirt. The boy clings to you, trembling, and you steady him. The camp's harsh welcome a storm of strife. You slump, the fire flickering, and help a wounded man, his arm slashed from the brawl, blood crusting. You tear your tunic, binding it, your fingers slick, fever pulsing. The Lord's tents glow, their laughter faint, while you shiver, the ground hard, the air thick with smoke and the moans of the weary. A girl, thin and silent, offers a sip from a cracked gourd, the water stale but cool. You share with the boy, his coughs easing, and nod thanks, her eyes hollow in the firelight. The priest, bloodied from Civito, prays nearby, his voice strained, pleading for unity. A rustle in the dark snaps you alert, liam tight in hand, heart hammering. A wolf howls, its call chilling, and you tense, scanning the shadows. No attack comes, but fear lingers, the camp a fragile hold amid chaos. You stare at the red cross, faded and torn, the knight's whips, the brawls, the hunger a brutal greeting to this crusade. You pull the boy close, his small frame warm, and rise, your body aching, the path ahead a tangle of danger, the Lord's harsh rule driving you deeper into the fray. You trudge forward, the year 1095, a grueling trial, your boots crunching on a rocky path, the red cross on your tunic faded, torn, and crusted with mud and blood. Fever lingers, a slow burn in your chest, your arm throbbing from the spear's graze, your hands shaking as they grip your liam. The air shifts, dry and hot now, dust rising from the earth, the scent of baked stone and sweat replacing the damp rot of earlier days. The boy stumbles beside you, his coughs rough, his eyes dull, his stick scraping the ground. The crusade, a mix of ragged peasants and armored knights, presses toward Constantinople, a city of promise, but danger hums, the road a gauntlet of peril. The sun blazes, scorching your skin, sweat stinging your eyes, your lips cracked and dry. You slog through a desert stretch, sand swirling, the heat a weight on your shoulders, your water pouch, nearly empty, sloshes faintly, and you ration a sip, the warm, gritty liquid barely easing your thirst. The boy gasps, his face flushed, and you pour a drop into his hands, watching him lap it up, his breath heavy. A man ahead collapses, his skin blistered, eyes rolling, and you rush to him, your own body weak, lifting him to shade under a scraggly bush. His mutter of thanks fades as he faints. The sun, a relentless foe. A shadow moves, swift and sly, and you tense. Leasham raised, heart pounding. A figure, cloaked and hooded, darts behind a rock, eyes glinting, watching the crusade. A spy, perhaps, for the Seljuks. And fear grips you, the memory of Civito's slaughter sharp. You nudge the boy, whispering, "Stay alert," and he nods, gripping his stick, his hands trembling. The shadow vanishes, but unease lingers, and you scan the horizon. Dust clouds rising where hooves might churn. Knights ride past, their armor flashing, shouting orders, their gaze cold. And you haul a load of wood, your back aching, their whips a threat in the blazing air. Shouts erupt, and you spin, pulse racing, expecting attack. A fight breaks out. Two crusaders, ragged and wild, grappling over a skin of water, fists swinging, blood beading on a brow. You leap in, weak but driven, and pull one back, yelling, "Stop! We need strength." The man shoves you, his breath hot, but stumbles off, blood dripping, the skin torn, water soaking the sand. The boy clings to you, fear in his eyes, and you steady him, the heat and chaos a storm around you. The knights bark. Move on and you trudge. The cities promise a faint hope amid the strife. Constantinople looms, its walls golden, towers piercing the sky, a marvel of stone and light. You gape, dust caking your face, the scent of spices and sea drifting near, a world beyond your village. The gates tower, guarded by Byzantine soldiers, their spears sharp, eyes wary. A knight leads, banners high, but tension crackles, the guards shouting, no food for rabble. A woman, gaunt and desperate, begs, and a soldier shoves her cry sharp as she falls. You rush, helping her up, her hands shaking, blood on her elbow, and glare. Your fever pulsing, the welcome harsh and cold. A scuffle flares, and you grip your lean, heart hammering. A crusader, hungry and bold, snatches a loaf from a cart. The vendor, a wiry man, swinging a club, blood spilling as it cracks his arm. You dive in, pulling the crusader back, shouting, no more your voice hoarse. He rests free, blood on his sleeve, and flees, the vendor cursing, the crowd jostling. The boy tugs your arm, scared, and you shield him. The city's gates a mix of wonder and danger. Knights barter with guards, voices sharp, and you stand, a peasant among lords, dust and blood your cloak. Night falls, the air cooling, the city's lights flickering like stars. You huddle near a wall, the stone cold. The boy curled close, his coughs easing. A fire burns, smoke stinging, and a woman shares a scrap of fish, its taste salty, a rare gift. You split it, feeding the boy, his nod grateful, a shout jolts you, and you grab your leam, fearing the spy or worse. Shadows shift, a thief darting, snatching a bag, blood beating as a crusader's fist lands. You pull them apart, weak, your body shaking, and they scatter, the night alive with threat. You slump, the wall rough, and help a man, his hand gashed, blood crusting. You bind it, tearing your tunic, your fingers slick, fever throbbing. The city hums, chants of prayer mixing with distant clanks of armor, the air rich with spice and dust. The priest, weary, prays nearby, his voice low, seeking grace. You stare at the Red Cross, faded and torn, the road to Constantinople a gauntlet of heat, spies, and strife, the crusade a wild blaze, driving you deeper into peril. You stagger forward, the year 1095, a brutal saga, your boots crunching on dusty earth, the Red Cross on your tunic faded, torn, and crusted with blood and grime from the road to Constantinople. Fever clings, a dull heat in your chest, your arm throbbing from past wounds, your hands shaking as they grip your leam. The air thickens, heavy with dust, sweat, and the faint tang of smoke, as the crusade reaches Nicaea, its high walls looming, a fortress of the Seljuks. The boy, your weary shadow, stumbles beside you, his coughs rough, eyes wide, his stick trembling in his grasp. Knights in glinting armor shout orders, banners snapping, and you, a peasant, face the chaos of a deadly siege. The sun blazes, heat baking your skin, sweat stinging your eyes as you haul stones, your back screaming, the weight crushing. A knight, his voice sharp, barks. Pile them higher, cur and you labor, dust coating your throat, fever pulsing. You stack rocks for siege engines, your hands raw, when a whistle cuts the air, arrows flying from the walls. One thud's near, splintering wood, and you dive, heart racing, pulling the boy behind a cart. A man screams, an arrow piercing his shoulder, blood spurting, his body slumping. You grip your leam, fear and heat blurring your sight. The roar of battle rising, steel clashing, shouts ringing. Stones crash down, launch from Nicaea's towers, and you duck, a boulder smashing the ground, dust exploding, a crusader's leg crushed, blood pooling, his cries raw. You scramble, helping him, dragging his weight, your arms burning, blood slick on your hands. Hold on, you mutter, tearing your tunic to bind his wound, the cloth soaking red. Arrows rain, one grazing your leg, a hot sting, and you stagger, the boy yelling. Watch out. A ladder rises, crusaders climbing, and you rush, steadying it, your hands shaking, the wood creaking under their weight. A man falls, pushed by defenders, his body thudding, blood spraying, and you flinch, horror gripping you. Seljuk warriors atop the walls pour oil, dark and gleaming, and a torch follows, flames erupting, heat searing your face. A crusader stumbles, burning, his screams piercing, the smell of charred flesh choking the air. You grab a branch, beating the fire, smoke stinging your eyes, your lungs aching. The boy coughs, clinging to you, and you pull him back, mud and ash smearing your legs. Knights charge, swords flashing, blood spilling as they clash with defenders. The ground a mess of gore and dust. You dodge a falling stone, heart hammering, and feel the siege's fury, a storm of death closing in. A cry rings out, and you spin, liam raised, seeing a crusader, wild-eyed, wrestling a comrade for a water skin, desperation fueling the fray, blood beads, a fist lands, and you leap in, shouting, "Stop this, your voice hoarse." Weak from fever, you pull them apart, your strength fading, and they stagger, the skin bursting, water lost to the dirt. The boy trembles, and you shield him. The chaos of battle and hunger, a relentless tide. A night roars, push forward and you haul more stones. Your body aching, arrows whistling, the walls unyielding, a fortress of defiance. Night falls, the sky dark, the air thick with smoke and the coppery tang of blood. You slump by a ditch, the boy curled close, his coughs sharp, your fever throbbing. A fire flickers, crusaders guarding scraps of bread, their faces grim. A woman, her arm gashed, stumbles near, and you rise, tearing cloth, binding her wound, blood soaking your fingers. She nods, eyes weary, and offers a sip of murky water, cool against your cracked lips. You share with the boy, his breath easing, the siege's din a dull roar, catapults thudding, cries echoing from the walls. A shadow shifts, and you grip your leam, heart racing. Fearing a Seljuk raid, a man staggers in, blood crusting his chest, gasping, and you help him, laying him down, your hands slick, his eyes fading. For Jerusalem, he whispers, then stills. Death a quiet thief. You shudder, the weight heavy, and glance at the walls, torches glinting, defenders shouting. The priest, bloodied, prays nearby, his voice strained, begging strength. Knights feast in tents, their laughter faint, while you shiver, the ground hard, the siege a brutal dance. You rise, legs trembling, and steady a ladder, crusaders climbing, arrows flying, one nicking your hand, blood welling. You grit your teeth, pushing on, the boy at your side, his stick raised, the walls hold, blood stains the earth, the air alive with screams and smoke. Nicaea looms, a deadly prize, and you stare at the red cross, torn and filthy. The crusade a fire of pain and peril. You pull the boy close, his frame small, and step forward. The siege's chaos a roaring storm, driving you deeper into the fray. You press on, the year 1095, a relentless forge, your boots grinding dust and stone, the red cross on your tunic ragged, stained with blood, mud, and the grime of Nicaea's siege. Fever smolders in your chest, your arm and leg stinging from grazes, your hands trembling as they clutch your lean, your only shield. The air bites, thick with dust, the tang of sweat and a rising tension. The crusade marching toward Dorylaeum, a plain of promise and peril. The boy, your weary shadow, stumbles beside you, his coughs harsh, eyes wide with fear, his stick gripped tight. Knights ride ahead, armor flashing, banners high, their shouts sharp, while you, a peasant, brace for the storm of battle. A sudden cry splits the air, and you jerk upright, heart pounding, liam raised from the hills. Seljuk riders burst, a thundering wave, their horses snorting, bows drawn, arrows slicing the sky. Panic grips the crusade, peasants scattering, knights wheeling to face the storm. An arrow whistles, thudding into a man beside you, blood spurting from his chest, his body collapsing, eyes blank. You grab the boy, diving behind a rock, your pulse racing, dust choking your throat. A horseman charges, his spear gleaming, and you swing your leam, the blade grazing his flank, a desperate block. He snarls, circling, and thrusts, the point nicking your shoulder, blood welling, pain flaring hot. You stagger, mud and dust caking your legs, and grip your leam, swinging again, the metal clanging off his shield. The boy yells, behind you, and you spin, an archer aiming, his bow taut. You duck, the arrow grazing your ear, a sharp sting, and lunge, your leam slashing, catching his leg, blood seeping, his scream raw. The clash roars, swords hack, blood sprays, a crusader falls, his arm severed, red pooling in the dirt. You pull the boy close, heart hammering, and dodge a charging horse, its hooves pounding, dust blinding. The air fills with cries, the coppery stench of gore, the battle a savage whirl. Knights counter, their blades flashing, horses rearing, and a Seljuk rider tumbles, blood gushing from his side, his horse bolting. You scramble, helping a woman, her face pale, a gash on her arm, blood dripping. You tear your tunic, binding it, your hands slick, fever pulsing, and mutter, stay low. An arrow lands near, splintering stone, and you shield the boy, his breath fast, his eyes terrified. A crusader, wild, swings a club, clashing with a warrior, blood beating, bones cracking, the fight a brutal dance. You grip your leam, swinging at a rider, missing, your strength fading, the heat and chaos a storm around you. A horn blares, sharp and urgent, and knights rally, their charge thundering, steel meeting steel. You stumble, a body at your feet, a youth, blood crusting his mouth, his chest still. You kneel, heart-wrenching, and close his eyes, the weight of death heavy. A rider looms, his sword raised, and you roll, mud smearing, the blade slicing air. You swing your leam, catching his horse, and he falls, shouting, blood staining the ground. You pant, fever burning, and pull the boy, running, dodging arrows. The plain a mess of gore, screams, and dust. The battle raging fierce. The Seljuks press, bows singing, and a man near you drops, an arrow in his throat, blood bubbling, his gasp fading. You drag him, your arms shaking, to a ditch, his weight heavy, blood soaking your hands. Hold on, you whisper, but his eyes dim, and you shudder, fear and fatigue clawing deep. A night roars, push them back, and you rise, gripping your leam, dodging a spear, the point whistling past. You swing, striking a warrior's arm, blood welling, his cry piercing, and he flees, the tide shifting, the crusade fighting hard. Night creeps in, the sky dark, the air thick with smoke and the stench of blood. You slump by a rock, the boy curled close, his coughs sharp, your fever throbbing. A fire flickers, crusaders binding wounds, their faces grim. A woman, her hands rough, offers a sip of water, cool but murky, and you share with the boy, his nod weak. You bind a man's gash, blood crusting his leg, tearing cloth, your fingers slick. A shout jolts you, Liam raised, heart racing, fearing a new attack. Shadows move, stragglers, wounded, limping in, the plain a graveyard of the fallen. You rise, legs trembling, the battle's din fading, the Seljuks retreating, their hooves a distant rumble. The priest, bloodied, prays nearby, his voice hoarse, pleading victory. You stare at the red cross, torn and filthy. Dorilaeum's fight a savage scar, blood and chaos staining the crusade. Knights regroup, their armor dented, voices sharp, while you shiver, the ground hard, the air heavy with death. You pull the boy close, his frame small, and step forward. The path to Jerusalem a brutal blaze, the fray unrelenting. You trudge onward, the year 1095 fading into 1096, your boots crunching frost and mud. The red cross on your tunic torn, stained with blood and dust from Dorilaeum's savage fight. Fever lingers, a dull ache in your chest, your wounds stinging, your hands trembling as they clutch your leam. The air bites, cold and sharp, the scent of damp earth and smoke mingling as the crusade surrounds Antioch, its towering walls a dark shadow against a gray sky. The boy, your weary companion, shuffles beside you, his coughs harsh, his face pale, his stick dragging in the frost. Knights in dented armor shout, banners limp in the chill, and you, a peasant, face the icy grip of a brutal siege. Winter descends, the wind cutting through your tattered cloak, your breath clouding, your fingers numb. You huddle near a ditch, digging with your liam, the ground hard, your arms aching as knights bark, deeper for the siege. Your back screams, cold seeping into your bones, fever pulsing, hunger gnaws. Your last scrap day's gone, and you spot a crust, half rotten, in the mud. You grab it, hesitating, then split it with the boy, its taste foul, your stomach churning. A man, gaunt and wild, lunges, snarling. That's mine, and swings a fist, catching your jaw, pain flaring. You shove back, weak, and he stumbles, the crust yours, desperation of fire in the camp. A shadow flickers, and you tense, lime raised, heart racing. A figure, cloaked, darts near the tents. A traitor, perhaps, whispering to the enemy within Antioch's walls. You grip the boy, whispering, stay close, his eyes wide, fear in his nod. The shadow vanishes, but dread lingers, and you scan the dark, the city's torches glinting, defenders ready. A cry pierces the night, and you spin, a woman wrestling a man, his knife flashing, stealing her rags for warmth. You rush, pulling him off, shouting, no more your voice hoarse. He glares, blood on his hand, and flees. The woman trembling, her thanks faint in the icy air. The cold deepens, your toes numb, your cloak thin, sickness stalks. A man coughs blood, his skin blotched, collapsing near. You kneel, fever burning, and lift his head, offering a sip from your pouch. The water, icy, gritty, he chokes, eyes fading, and stills. Death, a quiet thief. You shudder, pulling the boy close, his coughs sharp, and drape your cloak tighter, your own chills rattling. Catapults thud, stones crashing against walls, and defenders hurl rocks. One smashing near, dust flying, a crusader's arm crushed, blood seeping, his groans raw. You drag him, your strength thin, blood slick on your hands, and bind his wound, cloth soaking red. A knife glints, and you jerk, loam raised, heart pounding. A traitor, a crusader turned, lunges at a guard, blade slashing, blood beading on his neck. You charge, swinging your lime, the metal clanging, and he stumbles, cursing, fleeing into the dark. The guard gasps, clutching his wound, and you tear your tunic, binding it, your fingers numb, fever throbbing. The boy clings, trembling, and you shield him. The camp a storm of cold and betrayal. Nights roar, ready the ladders and you haul wood, your body aching, the wind howling, ice crusting your boots, the siege of frozen hell. Night blankets the plain, the sky black, stars hidden. You slump by a fire, the wood damp, smoke stinging your eyes. The boy curls close, his breath rasping, and you share a root, dug from frozen earth, its taste bitter, a faint fuel. A woman, her face gaunt, stumbles near, her hands blue from cold. You offer your spot, the fire's warmth slight, and she nods, shivering, her eyes hollow. A shout jolts you, Liam gripped, fearing attack. Two men brawl, fists flying, blood dripping, fighting for a scrap of meat. The camp a tinderbox of want. You leap, pulling them apart, your voice weak. Stop this. We fight together. They stagger, blood on their hands, and part. The meat torn, lost. The boy whimpers, and you hold him, the cold biting, the air thick with moans and smoke. The walls loom, defenders shouting, torches flaring, and you flinch. A stone crashing near, dust choking. The priest, weary, prays, his voice low, pleading strength. You stare at the red cross, faded, torn. Antioch's icy grip a trial of frost, hunger, and strife. The crusade a relentless blaze. You rise, legs shaking, and help a youth, his face fevered, blood crusting a gash. You bind it, your fingers stiff, the cloth red, your body weak. The fire flickers, the night alive with danger, the siege unyielding. You pull the boy close, his frame small, and step forward. The cold a claw, the path to Jerusalem, a distant, perilous dream amid this frozen fray. You press forward, the year 1096 a grueling tempest, your boots crunching frost and mud, The red cross on your tunic faded, torn, and crusted with the grime and blood of Antioch's icy siege. Fever burns low, your wounds stinging, your hands trembling as they grip your liam, your sole defense in this brutal crusade. The air hangs heavy, thick with smoke, the stench of rot, and the sharp chill of winter. The city's walls towering, a defiant bastion of the Seljuks. The boy, your weary shadow, stumbles beside you, his coughs rough, eyes wide with fear, his stick clutched tight. Knights roar commands, their armor dented, and you, a peasant, brace for the chaos of a crimson breach. The night pulses with tension, torches flaring along Antioch's walls, defenders shouting, their voices a taunt. A whisper spreads. A traitor within has sworn to open a gate, and hope flickers, dangerous and wild. You haul a ladder, your arms aching, the wood rough, as knights bark, ready the assault. Your heart pounds, fever pulsing, and you steady the ladder. Crusaders climbing, their boots scraping, arrows fly, a deadly rain, one thudding near, splintering wood, and you duck, pulling the boy close, dust choking your throat. A man falls, his chest pierced, blood spurting, his cry fading, and you flinch, the siege a storm of death. The gate creaks, a shadow moves, and crusaders surge, a wild tide, swords raised. You follow, liam gripped, heart racing, and breach the walls, the air thick with shouts and steel. A Seljuk guard lunges, his blade flashing, and you swing, your liam clanging, blocking the strike. He thrusts, the point grazing your side, blood welling, pain searing, and you stagger, swinging again, catching his arm, red seeping. Blood floods the streets, crusaders hacking, defenders falling, a warrior's throat slashed, gore pooling, the stench coppery and raw. You push the boy behind, his breath fast, and charge, the chaos a roaring blaze. Flames leap, oil spilled and lit, heat searing your face, the smell of burning flesh sharp. A woman, a civilian, flees, her scream piercing, a crusader's sword slashing, blood spraying as she falls. You freeze, heart-wrenching, and a child darts past, eyes wild, crying for her. You lunge, shielding him, shouting, run as a soldier nears, blade raised. You swing your liam, blocking, your arms shaking, and he backs off, the child vanishing into the smoke. The streets run red, bodies strewn, some twitching, others still, the air alive with wails and the clash of steel, the breach a crimson frenzy. A scuffle erupts, and you spin, liam raised, pulse hammering. Two crusaders, mad with fury, grapple a defender, blood beating, fists and blades flying. You rush, yelling, enough your voice hoarse, weak from fever, and pull one back, his sword clattering. He glares, blood on his hands, and stumbles off, the defender crawling, wounded, blood trailing. You kneel, torn, and bind his gash, your cloth soaking red, your hands slick. The boy clings, trembling, and you shield him. The city a storm of slaughter, faith and fury colliding in the dark. Knights storm a tower, their cries triumphant, blood dripping from swords. You stagger, dodging a falling stone, dust exploding. A crusader's leg crushed, his groans raw. You drag him, your strength fading, blood smearing your arms, and bind his wound, the cloth red, your fever throbbing. Arrows whistle, one nicking your hand, blood welling, and you grit your teeth, pushing on. A woman, her face pale, stumbles from a burning house, her arms singed, and you guide her, your voice soft. Stay low. She nods, eyes terrified, the city a maze of flame and gore. Night deepens, the sky black, smoke clouding the stars. You slump by a wall, the boy curled close, his coughs sharp, your body aching. A fire flickers, crusaders guarding loot, their faces grim, hands stained. A man offers a scrap of bread, stale but vital, and you share with the boy. His nod weak, a cry jolts you, liam gripped, heart racing, fearing a counterattack. Shadows shift, a defender darts, blade flashing, blood beating as he strikes a crusader. You leap, swinging your liam, driving him off, the wounded man gasping, blood crusting. You bind his gash, tearing your tunic, your fingers numb, the air thick with smoke and screams. The priest, bloodied, prays amid the ruin, his voice strained, pleading mercy. You stare at the red cross, torn and filthy. Antioch's breach a crimson scar. The crusade a fire of chaos and death. You pull the boy close, his frame small, and rise, the city smoldering. The path to Jerusalem, a distant perilous blaze amid this brutal fray. You stagger from Antioch's blood-soaked streets. The year 1096, a brutal forge, your boots crunching dust and sand, the red cross on your tunic torn, faded, and crusted with gore and grime. Fever simmers, your wounds throbbing, your hands shaking as they grip your liam, your only shield in this relentless crusade. The air burns dry and searing, the desert's heat replacing Antioch's chill. Dust swirling, the scent of sweat and baked earth choking your throat. The boy, your weary shadow, stumbles beside you, his coughs rough, eyes dull, his stick dragging in the sand. Knights ride ahead, armor glinting, banners limp, and you, a peasant, face the desert's wrath, Jerusalem, a distant dream. The sun blazes, scorching your skin, sweat stinging your cracked lips, your vision blurring. Your water pouch dangles, nearly empty, the last drops warm and gritty, barely easing your thirst. You trudge, legs aching, the sand burning through your worn boots, each step a battle. The boy gasps, his face flushed, and you pour a trickle into his hands, watching him lap it, his breath heavy. A man collapses ahead, his skin blistered, eyes wild, and you stumble to him. Your body weak, dragging him to a scrap of shade. His mutter fades, the heat a merciless foe, and you flinch, dust caking your face. A shout splits the air, and you spin, liam raised, heart pounding. Raiders, dark figures on swift horses, burst from a dune, their blades flashing, cries sharp and wild. Panic grips the crusade, peasants scattering, knights wheeling to fight. An arrow whistles, thudding near, and you dive, pulling the boy behind a rock, dust choking, your pulse racing. A raider charges, his spear gleaming, and you swing your liam, the metal grazing his arm, blood beating. He thrusts, the point nicking your side, pain searing, blood welling, and you stagger, swinging again, driving him back, his horse snorting, bolting. The clash roars, swords hack, blood sprays. A crusader falls, his chest gashed, red pooling in the sand. You dodge a rider, his blade slashing air, and grab the boy, running, sand slowing your steps, the air thick with dust and the coppery tang. A woman screams, a raider snatching her bag, and you lunge, your leam cracking his wrist, blood seeping, the bag dropping. She scrambles, clutching it, her thanks faint, and you pant, fever pulsing, the raid a storm of chaos. Knights charge, their cries fierce, and the raiders flee, hooves fading, leaving blood in broken bodies. You slump, the sand hot, and scan the wounded, your hands slick, a man, his legs slashed, groans, and you tear your tunic, binding it, the cloth soaking red, your strength fading, the boy clings, trembling, and you shield him, the desert a relentless blaze. You find a puddle, muddy and warm, and kneel, scooping a handful, the taste foul, but thirst drives you. The boy sips, coughing, and you splash his face, the heat unyielding, Jerusalem's walls a faint hope in the haze. Night falls, the air cooling, stars piercing the dark. You huddle by a rock, the boy curled close, his coughs sharp, your fever throbbing, a fire flickers. Crusaders guarding scraps, their faces grim. A woman, gaunt, offers a root, bitter but vital, and you share with the boy, his nod weak. A cry jolts you, Liam gripped, heart racing, fearing raiders. Shadows shift, a man staggers, blood crusting his arm, gashed in the fray. You help, binding it, your fingers numb, the cloth red, the desert's wrath lingering in the chill. A rustle snaps you alert, and you tense, scanning the dark. A jackal darts, eyes glinting, and you exhale, but fear clings. The road alive with threats, the priest, weary, prays nearby, his voice low, pleading strength. You stare at the red cross, torn and filthy, the desert a trial of heat, raids, and want. Knights regroup, their voices sharp, armor dented while you shiver, the sand hard, the air dry and tense. You rise, legs trembling, and guide the boy. His frame small, the path to Jerusalem a perilous blaze. You trudge, the horizon shimmering, dust stinging your eyes. A body lies ahead, a crusader, eyes blank, blood crusting his chest. A raider's work. You pause, heart heavy, and cover his face with sand. The weight of loss deep. The crusade presses on. Chants faint, the heat rising again. Your strength thin. You grip your lean, the boy at your side, and step forward. The desert's relentless wrath afire, driving you toward the holy city amid this brutal fray. You stagger through the desert's fading heat, the year 1096 bleeding into 1099, your boots grinding sand and stone, the red cross on your tunic torn, faded, and crusted with blood, dust, and the scars of a brutal crusade. Fever lingers, a faint burn, your wounds throbbing, your hands trembling as they clutch your leam, your last defense. The air shimmers, thick with dust, sweat, and the distant scent of smoke. Jerusalem's walls rising, a golden promise amid peril. The boy, your weary shadow, stumbles beside you, his cough softer, eyes wide, his stick gripped tight. Knights in battered armor shout, banners high, and you, a peasant, brace for the fierce conquest ahead. The sun blazes, scorching your skin, your lips cracked, your water pouch dry. You haul a ladder, your arms aching, the wood rough, as knights roar, scale the walls. Your heart pounds, fever fading, strength thin, and you steady the ladder. Crusaders climbing, boots scraping, arrows fly, a deadly storm. One thudding near, splintering wood, and you duck, pulling the boy close, dust choking your throat. A man falls, his chest pierced, blood spurting, his body crumpling, and you flinch, heart racing. Defenders pour oil, dark and slick, flames leaping, heat searing. A crusader's scream raw as fire consumes him, the stench of charred flesh thick. You grip your lean, rushing forward, the walls looming, Jerusalem's gates a prize. A Seljuk warrior leans out, his sword flashing, and you swing, metal clanging, blocking the strike. He thrusts, the blade nicking your arm, blood welling, pain flaring, and you stagger, swinging again, catching his shoulder, red seeping. The breach widens, crusaders surge, swords hack, blood floods the stones, a defender falls, gore pooling, the air coppery and loud. You push the boy behind, his breath fast, and charge, dodging a stone, dust exploding, the conquest a roaring blaze of chaos. Flames rage, houses burn, smoke stinging your eyes, screams echoing. A woman flees, her cry shrill, a crusader's blade slashing, blood spraying as she drops. You lunge, heart-wrenching, shouting, stop your voice hoarse, and he pauses, glaring, then moves on. A child stumbles, eyes wild, and you scoop him, guiding him to a shadow, your hands shaking. The streets run red, bodies strewn, some moaning, others still, the air alive with wails and steel. You dodge boiling oil, the heat scalding, a crusader's arm singed, his groan piercing, and you pull him back, blood and ash smearing your hands. A shout jolts you, Liam raised, pulse hammering. Two crusaders grapple, wild with fury, one snatching a looted cup, blood beating as a fist lands. You rush, yelling, enough and wrench them apart, your strength fading, the cup clattering. They scatter, blood on their hands, and you pant, the boy clinging. The city a storm of slaughter. Knights storm the walls, their cries triumphant, and you haul a stone, your body aching, arrows whistling, Jerusalem trembling. You bind a man's gash, blood-soaking cloth, your fingers slick, the chaos a relentless tide. Night falls, the sky dark, smoke clouding the stars. You slump by a wall, the boy curled close, his coughs faint, your wounds throbbing. A fire flickers, crusaders guarding loot, their faces grim. A woman, weary, offers a sip of water, cool and rare, and you share with the boy, his nod grateful. The din softens, the walls one, blood crusting the stones, the air heavy with smoke and loss. You rise, helping a youth, his legs slashed, tearing your tunic, binding it, red staining your hands. The priest, bloodied, prays, his voice low, giving thanks. You step forward, the city quieting, torches dim, the fight ebbing. Jerusalem breathes, its streets scarred, the crusade's cost etched in gore. You gaze at the red cross, torn and filthy, and feel a shift. The fury fading, a calm settles. The boy at your side, his hand in yours, the weight of years lifting. You walk, legs trembling, past broken walls, the holy city yours, a hard-won peace dawning. The air cools, the scent of dust and blood softening, and you pause. A quiet moment blooming, the fray behind, a gentle hope rising. You kneel, the ground firm, the boy close, his breath steady. The stars peek through, a faint light, and you rest, your limb down, the conquest done. The priest's prayer hums, a soothing sound, and you feel the journey's end, a fragile calm. You hold the boy, his frame small, and breathe, the path of peril fading. Jerusalem's embrace, a quiet gift. You stand in Jerusalem's quiet embrace, the year 1099. A fading storm, your journey through the Crusade's trials now a distant echo. The air softens, the harsh dust and blood of battle settling, replaced by the gentle scent of olive trees and cooling stone. Your boots, worn and heavy, rest on the sacred ground, the red cross on your tunic, torn and faded, a silent witness to your struggles. The boy, your faithful companion, leans against you, his coughs eased, his breathing steady, his small hand warm in yours. The city's walls, once a tower of defiance, now cradle you, their golden glow dim in the starlit night. You breathe deeply, the weight of hunger, fever, and strife lifting, your wounds a dull ache, a memory of the chaos endured, the sounds of battle, the clash of steel, the cries of the fallen, fade into a hushed calm, replaced by a soft wind whispering through the streets. You walk slowly, your steps light, past broken stones and quiet homes, the frenzy of conquest behind you. A faint hum rises, the priest's prayer, a gentle cadence, thanking the heavens for this hard-won peace. You feel it, a warmth spreading, the burden of the road easing, your heart steadying. You find a corner, a patch of earth near a wall, and sit. The boy curling close, his eyes heavy, a faint smile on his lips. The stars shine above, bright and kind, casting a tender light over Jerusalem. Your leam rests beside you, no longer needed, its weight a relic of the fray. The air cools, a breeze brushing your face, carrying away the heat of battle, the sting of loss. You close your eyes, the city's heartbeat soft, a rhythm of hope, of rest, guiding you gently towards slumber. You are safe now, the journey done, the holy city yours, a quiet gift to carry into dreams, sweet dreams